please. It's a King Mario.
Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Battleborn Podcast. I am your host and my name is Mario Salinas, and always good to be back with you guys again. I know I'm dropping the podcast a little late on you guys this week. I apologize. I've just been, for those of you guys who listen to the show regularly, you guys know I got a stack plate. I got so much going on all the time, and I was just super busy all week with, you guys know I'm trying to do this podcast, I'm working full time, I'm in school full time, I'm a dad, so, I got the whole parental responsibilities. I was actually with my son a little earlier today, and we were just, getting some stuff done and taking care of a few things that we needed to get done, which was all good, all fun stuff. And, I was spending time with him, and then, I'm not even gonna lie, guys, I came home telling myself, I'm gonna get home, I'm gonna be super productive, I'm gonna get in the lab, do the podcast, and then go get me some sleep. But I kind of did it in reverse, because I got home and I immediately passed the fuck out. So yeah, I got me some sleep. I got a few hours of sleep right now. Actually, right now that I'm recording this, I'm here on Nevada time. I'm here in Nevada, obviously, and it's almost midnight. We're just like a few minutes away from midnight here, and man, like usually I wouldn't be recording the podcast this late, I'd be getting my ass to bed, but like I said, man, I got me some sleep a little earlier, and I just woke up and I was just like, you know what, man, I gotta fucking record this podcast, man. I keep putting it off, and I've been putting it off for the last few days. I've been meaning to, get this, recorded and published like days ago, and here I am procrastinating as usual, and just lazy. So I apologize to all you guys again, and but it's, like I said, good to be back with all of you guys here on the podcast. If you guys are here listening to us on the Spotify or one of your favorite audio only versions of the podcast, whatever your favorite streaming platform is, welcome. And if you guys are watching us here on the YouTube channel, obviously you guys are seeing the video here, and you guys got us going on live there. And if you guys are watching on the YouTube, you guys always know, help out the show. Hit the like button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and also you guys can keep up with what we got going on the social medias. So you guys always know you can reach us at the Instagram, which is at Battleborn Podcast, Facebook at the Battleborn Podcast, and yeah, like I said, you guys can always just keep up with what we got going on over there. We can interact with you guys, and it's all good stuff, all fun. So power social media, right? But yeah, be sure to go follow us on all the channels, platforms, streaming services, and just show us a little love, and definitely much appreciated to everybody who's been listening to the show. Actually, I just saw the statistics for the show last week, for the last episode or the last couple of episodes, and yeah, it seems like maybe it's just because we kind of built it up this way, but it seems like most people prefer the audio only versions, like just listening to Spotify or Apple Podcast or Amazon, all the places that we're at, and iHeartRadio, and yeah, man, I have to say I definitely agree. I'm with you guys. I side with you guys. I prefer podcasting in the audio version. I like to just throw on my headphones and just kind of zone out, whereas with, video, you actually gotta pay attention a little more. But You know what I mean? It's just, it's all good stuff. And like I said, man, if you want to, take your podcast to the next level, you want to make it legit, you got to, you got to incorporate a little video, a little audio, you got to do it all. So, we're just trying to take it to the next level and get a little better, a little bigger, a little better every single week. So, thank you guys all for tuning in. And, with all that said, let's go ahead and, start the show. I'm gonna, since it's kind of late, like I said, man, I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a shorter show, which, I always say, I'm going to do a quick podcast. I'm going to record a short one this week, but then I end up talking for like 2 fucking hours. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm just planning on doing just kind of a quick, brief overview of all the news this week. We'll get into the quote of the week here in just a second. And, we'll get into some listener questions real quick. And then, I'll wrap the show and, let you guys go about your business and, just leave you guys with something for the week. And I'll probably try to record something again within here in the next few days, get another show out. That way, maybe give you guys a 2-for-1 for the week just for, being here so late. But, yeah, like I said, let's go ahead and dive right in and jump into the show. Obviously, you guys know who listen. We start each show off with our weekly quote of the week. And this week's quote of the week is actually going to be from one of my favorites, one of my personal favorites, actually. And it's from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And yeah, man, The Rock. Everybody loves The Rock. I don't know how you could not like The Rock. I mean, the guy's obviously really nice. He does a lot of movies, a lot of good movies, and the guy's just a big fucking star, man. Everybody loves him. So this week's our quote of the week is from The Rock, and the quote reads, "In 1995, I had $7 in my pocket, and I knew 2 things. 1, I'm broke as hell, and one day I won't be. You can achieve anything." And yes, sir. You know what I mean? If that doesn't fire you up, man, if that doesn't inspire and motivate you, then I don't know what will, man. Like I said, The Rock, on a personal note, I've been following The Rock for many, many years, man, since his wrestling days, back when he was in the then WWF and now WWE. But yeah, dude, I grew up on 90s wrestling, man. I was, all about the Attitude Era when it was at its that high level. You guys know what I'm talking about, in the 90s when we had like The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H and Undertaker, Mankind, and all these guys back then. And I personally think that was probably one of the best, if not the best, era in professional wrestling history. And it's just kind of a shame what it's kind of turned into. Wrestling is still entertaining, but I kind of fell out of that whole wrestling scene like a couple of years ago. A few years ago, actually, at this point, I haven't really been keeping up, whereas back in the day, man, it's like you couldn't miss it. You had to know what, Rock and Stone Cold and all these guys were doing. And, everybody I knew was tuned in and watching. And, just changing of the times, I guess, man. But like I said, definitely Rock, one of the guys I definitely look up to. He's just such an inspirational guy, you know what I mean? He's always dropping wisdom and knowledge, and look at him, man. Just that, how much success he's had, and everything that he's doing, and he's telling you right here that at one point, he was $7 in his pocket, man. That's what I'm saying about if that doesn't motivate you, man. Because this guy, I know what that feels like, and I know so many people out there know what that feels like. When you're down to your last few dollars, you know what I mean? And you're just, you're in the struggle, you know what I mean? You're just getting by, you know what I mean? So I definitely know a thing or two about that. And, you look at The Rock now, man, like I said, huge global success. The guy's on top of the world. He's that guy's living a good life, man. So, look at The Rock. That guy is an example right there of, I think, hard work, dedication, and persistence, man. You know what I mean? That guy he kept working for his dream. He never said, he never took no for an answer. And, he did pretty good for himself, I would say. And, like I said, he's got I like to follow The Rock a lot on social media, so be sure to go follow him there. He can, I'm sure he's got the Twitter and the Instagram and all that stuff. I follow him on the Instagram, so, Rock, definitely one of my favorite guys to follow. And, anyway, before I ramble on too long about that, let's go ahead and, jump into the news for the week and, run through the show. And, I actually want to start in the sports world this week, and I actually wanted to talk about the Lakers, man, because, yeah, obviously you guys know, if you guys been listening to the show, I'm a huge Lakers fan, you know what I mean? I'm a Lakers head. I'm, Team LA through and through. And, when it comes to basketball anyway. And, yeah, man, it's just been, it's been pretty rough last couple of weeks. I talked about it a little bit on the last show where I talked about how, Anthony Davis, one of our, our number 2 on the team behind LeBron, he got injured, man. It looked like he kind of maybe messed up the Achilles, but they're calling it like a calf thing. And it kind of reminds me of, you guys remember that last little stint that KD had in Golden State, where it was the same thing, where like he got hurt and he was like just, reaching at his ankle, but then like a few days later they're saying, no, it wasn't his ankle, it was his calf. And I'm just like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? But, anyway, Anthony Davis got injured, AD got injured, and he's been out for a little bit, and they said he was going to be out for like at least a month, 3 to 6 weeks. So a month to 2 months we're not going to have Anthony Davis, and it looks like he's not going to play until probably after the All-Star game, which is coming up here pretty soon, and we'll talk about that in a second. And man, yeah, it's kind of getting hard to watch, man. It's just, I'm so Team LA, man. When I see them struggling, man, it hurts. It hurts right there, man. It's very, very hard to watch the squad right now, man. They've been having a lot of struggles, man. We lost like 4 straight games, and we actually beat Portland the other night, and then we just beat Golden State. Was it today or yesterday? I mean, like I said, man, the days are blending in, but yeah, we just beat Portland and Golden State back to back, but. I mean, I would expect the Lakers to win those games. We still have LeBron James, you know what I mean? And I don't see the Blazers or the Warriors being, either of them being the team that's going to make it to the finals. So, I mean, we lost to all these guys, man. You know what I mean? We lost to, Detroit, and we lost to Utah and all these guys, and just, man, 4 straight games, and I mean, we just really struggled, and it just shows how scary things can be if anybody gets hurt. You know what I mean? Because if we don't have Anthony Davis, and like let's say like we lost Anthony Davis for the whole season, I would give Lakers no shot to go back to back and win another title. You know what I mean? And we need AD, you know what I mean? Which is also kind of brings up the question, man, should the Lakers be looking to make a move right now? You know what I mean? And what would that move be? You know what I mean? Because I've heard talks about they were gonna, that they were interested in maybe getting Blake Griffin, who's trying to get out of his deal in Detroit. DeMar DeRozan, he wants to get out, and the Lakers are looking at both those guys, but what are you gonna give up for them? You know what I mean? And would it be worth it? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure to get another like a top tier kind of guy, like one of those guys, I mean, you would have to, I mean, who'd you get rid of, man? You're gonna have to get rid of Kuzma, KCP, like Alex Caruso. Like, man, that's just, I get it, but at the same time, I think there's also something to the chemistry of the team that they've built up over these last couple of years, man, on this championship run. You know what I mean? And like, I would hate to lose all those guys, man. Honestly, like. I could see them trading Kyle Kuzma to get someone better, but like I also feel like Kyle Kuzma can get so much better, and he can get so much better playing with a guy like LeBron. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it would be a shame to see him go, and I don't want to lose KCP. I definitely don't want to lose Caruso, who have just proven themselves to be like the freaking heart of the team. Like, I mean, if you're going to trade anyone, I guess you could trade like Marc Gasol, but I don't think, there's going to be a lot of interest there. I don't think we're going to trade, any of the guys that we just brought in, Schroeder. I mean, we just picked them up. Why are we going to trade them away? After not even a full season in, like, I don't see it happen. Montrez and all these guys, we got to keep them around, I think. But, yeah, man, hopefully, knock on wood for the Lakers that AD comes back healthy and ready to go, because man, we really need that guy, man. It's been so hard to watch the squad, man. It's hard to see them struggle and lose all these games, man, that I know that they could be winning, you know what I mean? That they were winning, when we were at 100%, but man, we'll see how it goes from here. We'll definitely keep our eye on it. You know what I mean? Just, obviously I wanted to talk about that, team Lakers all day, every day. And, you guys know, and, yeah, man, speaking of the Lakers, I actually want to also bring this up, man. There's some Kobe news, there's some Kobe Bryant stuff in the news right now for like a few different reasons, actually, why Kobe's in the news right now. First, the one thing I wanted to bring up is we just recently passed the 1 year anniversary of a few weeks ago I talked about it on the show. We did the we talked about the 1 year anniversary of the the tragic day where Kobe passed, the tragic day of that helicopter accident. And we just talked about, how crazy it was that a whole year had gone by. We actually went through another, kind of anniversary, which was the 1 year anniversary of the memorial service that was held at the Staples Center, the celebration of life for Kobe and Gigi, and all the other victims of the of that sad tragic accident last year. And why I wanted to bring that up, man, is because that one really hits home to me because I was there. You know what I mean? I was at the Staples Center that day on 2/24 last year, and I was at the Kobe Bryant memorial celebration. And dude, it's just it's crazy, man. Like it's hitting me now more, thinking back on it. Like I was there, and I was like, to me, I feel like that's a part of history. You know what I mean? That memorial service. And like, man, how I was saying, it's crazy how a year passes by, man. It really is, man. Like, it doesn't feel like a whole year, but at the same time, it's felt like a really long time. Like you're really far removed from that because, it's just, I went through that and the whole entire year of 2020 of everything that went on, you know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? Like, dude, just a year gone by already, man. And, I just remember being at that memorial, you know what I mean? I remember it so vividly, you know what I mean? It's one of those things I'm definitely never, ever going to forget, you know what I mean? I don't think you can forget something like that, right? You know what I mean? It's like, man, especially with like the quality of the people that were in the attendance, not just the fans, which it was a sold out thing, you know what I mean? There was people, man, do you guys remember when it was the whole like raffle to get the tickets, man? Like, and it's this whole big long ass story of how I ended up with tickets, and it's actually a pretty cool story. I think we'll get into that another time, but you know what I mean? Like, I ended up getting tickets to go to to the memorial, you know what I mean? So I ended up going over there, and I caught that, and it was crazy, man, because the people that were in the attendance, it was like kind of a bittersweet moment, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you're in LA, you're at the Staples Center, you know what I mean? You're like, I'm literally sitting right here, and within like feet, just a short distance away from me, man, I'm seeing like, Michael Jordan and, Shaq and all these guys, Magic Johnson, and not just all the basketball guys, but there's, all these celebrities, man. There was like Kim Kardashian and Kanye right there, and J-Lo and Beyonce and Jay-Z. They're all just sitting right there. And I'm just, you're just kind of there like, I'm not gonna front, you're a little starstruck because, like, man, look at all these guys. They're literally sitting right there in front of me. This is the craziest fucking thing, you know what I mean? But also, like I said, the bitter part is because you know what you're there for. You know what I mean? You're there because one of the people you've looked up to your entire life. One of the people you can call like a role model and a hero to you. Kobe, for everything that he was able to do, is like, you're there to, kind of mourn his death. And it was just, like I said, man, it was a lot of mixed emotions. I'm sure there was a lot of mixed emotions all throughout the air. There wasn't a dry eye in that house, man. I can tell you that. If you guys, if you guys want to go to my personal Instagram account, which is at mselena775, I have a story highlight of that day. You guys can go and see some of the videos and pictures that I took, behind the scenes, while I was in the attendance of the at the Staples Center that day, and you guys can go see that. But man, it's like, you're just sitting there, and like, it doesn't really hit you at that time. But like I said, man, now that we're a year removed from it, it's like, it's crazy, man. It almost doesn't feel like to me like I was there, you know what I mean? Because it's like, dude, that you think about it, it's like, and now, man, when I see like I see highlights on social media all the time, and clips of the event, and I'm just like, man, I remember just sitting there and hearing these guys, and watching poor Miss Vanessa Bryant over there giving her speech, which like I still said it, man. I said it back then, I'll say it now, man. Like, how she was able to get up there and give that speech, man, and give it in its entirety, man. That's, whew, man, that's it's a strong lady right there, man. You know what I mean? Nothing but respect for Mrs. Bryant. Her other daughters, everybody that's, just obviously still in a lot of mourning and trying to, kind of figure out their way in life now that they've lost, their husband, their father, their daughter, their sister. And, and that just kind of also, I wanted to, just kind of get into this for, speaking of, Vanessa Bryant, it's just, dude, it's just it's so ridiculous, man, that, this lady who, just didn't do anything to anybody, you know what I mean? Who's just obviously, like I said, man, she's mourning her husband, and there's always these fucking people that are come out and say, oh, well, it's been a whole year. I mean, yeah, but I'm sure it's been a pretty hard year. You know what I mean? An entire year without the person you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with, man. That can't be easy. You know what I mean? Without, one of your daughters. I mean, that's got to be a completely difficult situation, and now instead of being able to just mourn and try to, navigate through life, and figure out things for, her other kids and everything like that with her family, man, she's got to deal with all these fucking, trolls on social media and all these people, just spewing out all this nonsense and throwing dirt on Kobe's name. Like, all these people that, what was her name? Rachel Evans, and all these people that, for those of you guys who don't know, shortly, after Kobe passed away and, the news was announced everywhere last year, a bunch of these goons, they take it to social media to completely, spew out their out of context, characterizations of Kobe about the 2004 sexual assault, allegations that were made against him, which were proven to be false, by the way. But obviously nobody wants to take the time to get the full context of the story and find out all, just everything that actually happened. They just want to go with the narrative, you know what I mean? Whatever the narrative that was thrown out there. And it's just like, and that is, Vanessa Bryant actually brought this up herself, where it's just like, when you throw these allegations at men specifically, you know what I mean? That's why, you can literally destroy a man's life, his livelihood, and his career. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can really cause someone a lot of damage just with an allegation. You know what I mean? And then, obviously, the whole thing proved out to be, the version of I don't want to get into, relitigating the whole case again, but I'm just saying, like, if you guys actually go and look up what actually were the facts of that case, you would see how entirely bogus the whole thing was. It was a total extortion plot against Kobe to try to get squeeze some money out of him. Obviously a rich, successful athlete, and got caught up in a situation. And it just, nobody wants to take the time and get the facts. They just go out there, spew their nonsense. And now, poor Mrs. Bryant's got to go to social media and obviously, she's got to defend her husband's honor because all this shit is it's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's not true. So, the fact that they can't just let that woman just be in peace, and take care of her family and mourn in private, you know what I mean? And just let her, just let her do her thing, man. But no, all these fucking goons, like I said, they got to take it to social media to this next level, and like I said, spew out all this nonsense, and it's just fucking so ridiculous, man. It's like, you just can't. They just can't let the dead rest, man. You know what I mean? They always got to, take cheap shots. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't want to get too far into that, too deep into that. I just wanted to, just say, like, you know what I mean? Like, thankfully, most people on social media, I think, are, good, honest people or decent people. And, you know what I mean? And, every time, you see what's, on the, the social medias for, Mrs. Bryant, their daughter. And, if you guys follow any of them or what they got going on, man, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, most people are very supportive of them because, you know what I mean? I believe, most people are decent, you know what I mean? Decent human beings, at least. And, just for anyone out there, man, that's, just come on, man. Just at this point, you really gotta still try to throw dirt on Kobe's name. It's just the other part of this story that I wanted to talk about was Meek Mill. Actually, if you guys don't know Meek Mill, he's a rapper, and he's a good rapper. You know what I mean? I like Meek Mill. I tend to like him. I like his music. I think he's a very, very good rapper. You know what I mean? Considering just the landscape of rap music these days, like, Meek Mill is one of those guys that stands out to me. You know what I mean? So, in a sea full of everybody sounds the same, music, and, in this era anyway, Meek Mill is, he's, one of those guys that I really appreciate, when it comes to his music, cause he's got, he's always got a really cool message in a lot of songs if you guys listen to his lyrics, but, he just recently did a track also, and he got into a little controversy with Vanessa Bryant because, he dropped this track and he made a reference to Kobe, and it was, just a reference to him and the, and the helicopter. You know what I mean? I'm not going to play the song or anything like that, but, you guys can go look up the quote, and, it's just, I'm sure most of you guys have heard it. I've seen it all over social media at this point. That's how I found out about it, and also from, Mrs. Bryant's page, but, Meek dropped this, line on Kobe, and, look, man, the question came up was like, was it a way for him to be able to, pay honor to Kobe? Was it a little disrespectful? Look, man, like I said, I like Meek Mill, but I did find the lyric to be a little bit out of pocket. Like, I found it to be a little bit disrespectful. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I'm sure maybe, I hope, I don't know. You know what I mean? I hope that Meek Mill had good intentions behind the lyrics, and, I think he should, make that clear. And hopefully, I'm sure he's, man enough to probably, hit up Vanessa in private and, kind of have that discussion with her and, kind of come to a consensus about it. Hopefully, I hope he would do that. But, like I said, you never know, and you don't really know what he meant by the lyric, but I did find it a little bit disrespectful, and people just ask me, what do you think? Do you think that was out of pocket? Yeah, man, I do. You know what I mean? At this point, it's like, to make references like that. People are gonna say something. You know what I mean? Like, Meek is smart enough to know that. You know what I mean? He's been in the game for a minute. He knows the deal. He knows the business. He knows the industry. He knows how things are gonna go down. So, he should have known. At the moment when he dropped that line, that it was gonna get some attention. So, hopefully, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not, because at the same time, I'm like a, free speech kind of guy where I don't want to tell people what they can and cannot say. My opinion of it is, yeah, man, I found it to be a little disrespectful. I think it was, totally uncalled for and unnecessary. So, that's just my take. Some of you guys were asking me what my opinion on the whole thing was with Meek and Vanessa Bryant. And I just, I said, I'll just talk about it on the podcast, man. I think that he shouldn't have done it, and I think he should, whatever he can do to make amends, either, get rid of the song, change the lyric, whatever he's got to do. But, man, that's just my take. And, the last bit of Kobe news, man, before we move on here, is there's actually talk in the NBA now about changing the NBA logo. So if you guys ever heard of the NBA, you associate it with that logo right there. And yeah, man, that logo, man, it's iconic, man. It's that's been the image of the NBA for, since I was born, man. That's the logo. It's always been there. And fun fact for those of you guys who don't know, the silhouette in that logo is actually Jerry West. And Jerry West, this guy's a total badass, man. Champion. He played with the Lakers for a bunch of years, and he's an executive now, and he's been just he's been so instrumental in so many championship teams, along the way, over the last, several decades, actually. This guy's been around for a minute, and, that's what we call him, Jerry the Logo West, and he was a bad man on that court, man. But, so he's the logo, right? And Kyrie Irving, who plays for the Brooklyn Nets, just recently, he just made some news because, he had a presser the other day, and, he's been, very vocal about his position that he believes that the NBA should update the logo. So he wants to change this logo to this logo, which would be in honor of Kobe Bryant. Now, obviously, I don't know if it would be like a full image like that of Kobe, or if it would just be a blackened out silhouette, like, or is it whitened out or blackened out? However they're going to do that, like I'm sure they would have to go through a few design, images, in order to get the, the best one to represent the league. But so in Kyrie Irving's argument, he says that his quote was, "Black kings built the league." You know what I mean? Meaning that, this is obviously a predominantly African-American league. And, it was black people who really took this sport and took it to the level where it is now. Well, black people and Larry Bird and people like Jerry West, you know what I mean? Like, you can't forget about these guys all throughout the NBA history also, you know what I mean? I would just point that out, you know what I mean? And, cause, I think, a guy like Larry Bird was just as instrumental in the development of the NBA as anyone was. And then, obviously Michael Jordan came and made it a whole international global thing in the 90s and just took it to an extreme, new level. Michael Jordan did. He put the league on his back. But, a lot of people built up the league. But, look, Kyrie's obviously got a point. It's been mostly black people who have built up the NBA. So, he says, the logo should be a representation of that, and what better way to do that than to make it also at the same time an honorance to Kobe Bryant, you know what I mean? Who obviously, was a big staple in the league, in the history of the game itself. And, you know what I mean? Obviously has a big part in the history of the NBA. You know what I mean? 5 championships, 20 years with the Lakers, everything that he's done, all the, all the records and accomplishments and accolades that he was able to achieve, and, look, I think, that's the other question, man. How do I feel about the NBA and, should they change the logo? Well, here's the arguments to it. Let's look at the arguments. The first argument is to, leave the logo alone. Just leave it what it is. This is what we know. This is what's been the NBA's trademark for pretty much ever, so, that's the first argument, leave the logo the way it is. Second argument, Kyrie's argument. Let's change the logo to Kobe Bryant. And look, I mean, if they decide to change it to Kobe Bryant, obviously I would be all for it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be against it. I mean, I'd be all for it, man. I think that'd be great. I agree with Kyrie. What a better way to honor Kobe Bryant and everything that he did for the game than to update the logo to him. You know what I mean? And Jerry West, by the way, has came out in support of the change. He says it doesn't matter to him if they change it. He never asked to be the logo, so it was just kind of bestowed on him. And he says, hey, man, if they want to update it to a guy like Kobe Bryant, who him and Jerry West had a very close relationship with each other. Jerry West was part of those championship teams, with Kobe and Shaq. So, I mean, yeah, man, if they update it to Kobe, I'd be for it. I wouldn't be against it. But there is a third argument to this, and there's a lot of talk lately about they're saying that if they're gonna change the logo, they should change it to Michael Jordan, and the argument being that, look, Michael Jordan, hands down, is the greatest of all time. He's the GOAT when we're talking about basketball and NBA. Michael Jordan all day, every day. No one's going to surpass what he did, obviously, you know what I mean? And, just like I said, everything that he was able to do, he took the game to that next level. It was off of the era of Michael Jordan, or the aura of Michael Jordan, I should say. I guess both would work, but you know what I mean? So, obviously everyone knows the iconic Jumpman logo, and the talk is we should change it to Michael Jordan to represent, like how Kyrie said, it should be a representation of the league and the people who mostly built it up, and that honor should go to the greatest of all time, and that is Michael Jordan. So how do I feel about this? And what if they change it to Michael Jordan? Also, I wouldn't be mad at it, man. I wouldn't be against it if that's what they decide to do. Obviously, I love the Jumpman logo, man. I think everybody does. You know what I mean? Everybody loves Jordans. If you don't love fucking Jordans, man, then I don't know what to tell you. There's probably something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you could not look at a brand new pair of fresh Jordans and just not just sit and stare at it for a second. You know what I mean? And just look at it and just look at those shoes and how nice they look. I mean, I like some, nice Jordans, man. Jordan, he's just, the staple of, basketball sneakers, probably all sneakers, actually. I mean, that guy, fuck, man, how much is he sold in sneakers at this point, man? That guy is the sneaker fucking king. Michael Jordan is, man. And I'll debate anybody on that point. Like, what's more iconic than the Jordan? You know what I mean? So, I mean, look, if they change it to Michael Jordan, I wouldn't be mad at it. I would be more in favor of them changing it to the Kobe silhouette, because, it'd be, everyone already knows the Jordan logo. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to give something to Kobe that way. You know what I mean? Let him be the logo of the NBA. So generations from now, when, the next batch of kids who come up on, new era NBA years from now, and they're like, the NBA logo, who's that? Was that an actual player? Yeah, that was this guy named Kobe Bryant. Let me tell you about a guy named Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? Kind of stuff like that. So look, the bottom line is, I think the NBA can pretty much get away with whatever they decide to do here. You know what I mean? If they decide to leave the logo alone and just leave it as is, I think they can get away with that without, I don't think that would be controversial. You know what I mean? I think it's just, hey, that's our logo. That's how we were built. That's what we're going to stick with. I wouldn't be mad at that. They change it to Kobe, can't be mad at it. They change it to MJ, can't be mad at it. So whatever they decide to do, man, my opinion is I am all for it. Whatever the NBA wants to do. If I had a preference, I would prefer that they update the logo and change it to Kobe Bryant. But hey, man, we'll wait to see what happens. We'll see what Commissioner Silver decides to do, and let us know what you guys think. What do you guys think the NBA should do for their logo? Should they keep it the same? Should they change it to Kobe, or should they change it to MJ? Be sure to you can comment on this video on the YouTube. You can email us here at the email, which is at battlebornpodcast@gmail.com. Or you guys can, again, get us on the socials. Find us there. Send me a message. Let me know. We'll run a poll and we'll see, we'll talk about it on the next show, what you guys, think is best, for the NBA going forward. And, we'll get into that. But before we actually jump off of the sports news, I wanted to just bring up very quickly Tiger Woods. And obviously, if you guys haven't heard, I talked about it. I posted something about it on the Instagram the other day. Tiger Woods was involved in a car accident over there in the Los Angeles area, and you know what I mean? Thankfully, looks like, just we're going to knock on wood for Tiger Woods, but looks like he's going to pull through, and looks like he had some injuries, but mostly to, I believe one of his legs, his ankle and his knee and all that stuff. And I believe he's had like those kind of issues before. And now, he's had to, it's more surgery, you know what I mean? More surgery on Tiger Woods' body. Like, I had no idea that guy had been through so many surgeries. Like, that guy's done like back surgeries and knee surgeries and shoulder surgeries, and I didn't know that golfing took such a toll on people, man. But yeah, I'm finding out that golf isn't, it isn't the easy, like at a professional level, it isn't the like easygoing, just whatever kind of easy sport for the old men to play. I mean, a lot of old men do play, but there's like a level that you gotta train at and be good at to be able to be on the level of a guy like Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson and all these guys, right? So I had no idea it was so strenuous on the body, just playing golf. So I shouldn't even say just playing golf, you know what I mean? It's like, man, I had no idea. But yeah, man, like I said, Tiger Woods got into the car accident. Looks like he's going to be okay, which, thankfully for that. I mean, it's just been a couple of close calls this week, man. If you guys remember, it was the whole Dr. Dre thing a couple weeks ago. He had the brain aneurysm over there in LA, about a month ago. And then, that got really scary for a second. He pulled through, which thankfully for that. Tiger Woods got in this accident, and at first they were reporting like, he's very serious injuries. He's in serious condition, and you're just like, man, no, you cannot start off like this 2021, to lose a guy like Tiger, you know what I mean? Who's just obviously not without his own controversies, but I mean, he's been, an upstanding guy, most of the time, most of his career, most of his life, you know what I mean? He's just, you don't find too many people that have a lot of bad things to say about Tiger Woods. So I'm just saying, man, I'm glad. Thankfully, it looks like he's going to pull through. As far as how's this going to affect him coming back to golfing, no idea, man. You know what I mean? The thing about it is, man, like, Tiger Woods is such a successful guy, man. He's like, like the Michael Jordan level of golf, you know what I mean? And it's like, he probably never has to play another day in his life if he doesn't want to, you know what I mean? But, we'll hopefully see, what's in store in Tiger Woods' future. But, we just wanted to, wish him well and say, Tiger, get well soon. We're glad that you pulled through, and, glad that things didn't turn out to be, worse or as bad as they could have been. So there's always something to be thankful for. And, just moving off of that real quick, you guys, I just wanted to, quickly just move out of the sports world and talk a little bit, a little politics here, and, it's what we do here on the show. There's not too much crazy stuff going on right now, man, in the world of politics, but, just a few things that I wanted to get out there. Probably the most notable thing this week was, CPAC, the conservatives, had their, political action conference, which is their annual little, kumbaya get together where they all get together and, do whatever it is that they do over there. But, it's full of, notable speakers. All the prominent Republicans will come out there, like Ted Cruz and Donald Trump actually came out of hiding, and, he spoke for the first time since, he left the White House, or his, that little farewell speech he did at Joint Base, Andrews in Florida. And, it's just, look, man, it is exactly what you would have expected, you know what I mean? Like, Donald Trump went out there and still spewing the same crazy conspiracy nonsense that, he won the election, and look how everything's so bad now that Joe Biden is in. It's like, Joe Biden, dude, has only been there for like 5 weeks. Like, calm down, relax, man. Like, it ain't that bad, if things were going so bad, like 5 weeks in, then that shows mostly like, it kind of shows your failures, to be honest. You know what I mean? It would just show how lame of a setup that you left them, because, 5 weeks in, man, you were sitting pretty from the Obama handoff, 5 years ago. But look, man, like I said, everything you would expect it, everything that you would probably expect it to be. Probably the stick out moments to me was, the part that really sticks out to me was, Ted Cruz, obviously he had that whole, he had his whole controversy with his little vacation to Cancun while his constituents were freezing to death. But he was one of the speakers at the CPAC, and he went out there and spoke and actually made light of the situation. He was joking about his trip to Cancun and trying to just play it off and downplay it like it was no big thing. But actually, I just saw recently that the polls are showing that his approval numbers have severely tanked. You know what I mean? Like by double digits. He's lost over double digits in percentages of support from the people of Texas. You know what I mean? Just in the fallout of this whole Cancun controversy. And he went out there and the thing that kind of sticks to me, man, is Ted Cruz. He spent a good portion of his speech mocking AOC, right? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's a member of the squad, congresswoman from New York, Democrat. And he was mocking her. And the reason why that sticks out to me, man, is just like, just the nerve of this fucking guy, Ted Cruz, right, man, to, for everything that he did. He tried to bail on Texas when Texas needed leadership, and AOC, who is from New York, right? She doesn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to give a shit about Texas. She doesn't have to take time of everything that she's doing to fly to Texas herself, right? And volunteer her time to help, deliver supplies to people and raise money, which the woman raised over $5 million in her efforts for relief, following this, this blizzard hit that struck Texas. And, just the gall of a guy like fucking Ted Cruz, man, to mock her, where it's just like, it just, again, man, this is just the exact reason why so many people are just so turned off from politics these days. It's like, you can't just let them have one. You know what I mean? Like, in the very same week where this, and Ted Cruz, by the way, this is a guy who voted against, giving, Sandy relief back when the, when the superstorms hit the East Coast, places like New York, New Jersey, and, Sandy ravaged through there. And, Ted Cruz voted against giving those states relief. You know what I mean? Obviously, because, they're blue states, he doesn't give a shit. Why are we going to help out the blue states? Let them suffer, right? I think that's how he thinks. So, for him to be a guy to vote against relief for, a natural disaster in the East Coast, but then he's asking for the world down in Texas now that, they're hit with something, you know what I mean? And, AOC, who, like I said, doesn't have to do anything, flies over to your state, helps your people, you know what I mean? She raises money for your people. She's out there delivering, resources to people. She's out there helping people in any way that she can. And within days, you're out there mocking her for it. You know what I mean? And, it's so fucking ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? It's, this is where I would expect the Democrats to step up, and really, like I said, defend their own, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at everything this woman's doing out there. You know what I mean? When she didn't have to. And, she's done more than Ted Cruz has. And he's a representative of that state. So, it's like I said before, man, like, what a fucking terrible person AOC is, because she wants to actually help people, who need a little bit of help. Right? So I guess that makes her the radical, right? And it's not the other way around. But anyway, yeah, man, the other part of this, CPAC, again, like I said, man, Donald Trump came out and gave his speech, and I actually listened to some of it. I didn't listen to all of it. You know what I mean? At this point, I can't really listen to a 90-minute Trump speech anymore, man. I probably heard about 15-20 minutes of it, you know what I mean, somewhere in the middle. It wasn't at the beginning or the end, but and I tuned out. But it was just kind of full of the same thing. I won the election, I should be the president, they stole it from me, yada 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 yada. But the part the part of Trump's speech that really got to me is he called Joe Biden a communist. He said Joe Biden was a fucking communist. And let me tell you guys something. If you guys think that Joe fucking Biden is a communist, then you obviously don't know anything about politics, man. Like, I question what you know about politics, or if you're just going with whatever narrative that you hear on whoever it is that you follow. You know what I mean? You're not doing any research, and you're not looking for context, and you're not looking for facts. Because if you think that Joe Biden, if you think this guy right here is a communist, then, there's just some people you can't help, man. There's some people you can't talk to, you know what I mean? There's some people you're never going to convince. So look, man, keep calling Joe Biden a radical, right? And just keep doing it, because it's such a failing message, because, you know, if you're more of a left-leaning voter, you know what I mean? If you're more of a progressive voter, you know, take myself, for example. Anytime you hear that, man, and I've talked about it here on the show, like anytime you hear this whole narrative that Joe Biden, you know, look at, he's being the most radical president of all time. Like, really? Show me where he's being the most radical president of all time. You know what I mean? Like, is he ending the wars? No. In fact, he's re-engaging with the Middle Eastern countries. You know what I mean? He's back, you know, we're back to making deals with the Saudis. We're back to, you know, ordering drone strikes in the Middle East. He just launched a drone strike in Syria. You know what I mean? And now it's been confirmed that 22 people died. Who these 22 people were, we don't know. They say, oh, this was a targeted attack. You know, we were, you know, retaliating for them, you know, attacking us. So we got to attack them back. And, you know, we got to give them a receipt for it. And, you know, it's just the way it goes in war. And it's just like, or, you know, we could just not be there, you know, we could just leave, you know, like, what are we still doing in these countries? Like, 9/11 was literally 20 years ago now, you know what I mean? And dude, like, there's people fighting these wars that weren't even alive when 9/11 happened. You know, it's the craziest thing, man. Like, have you guys seen this? I'm sure some of you guys have seen this report. There's, you know, soldiers, you know, being shipped off now, you know, 18-year-olds being shipped off now that don't even remember 9/11. You know, and they're going out to the Middle East to fight these wars. You know what I mean? These endless wars that just, like, are they ever going to end, man? Like, how long are we actually going to be in these places? You know what I mean? Like, how long do we need to be there? I mean, when you're running for president, man, you promise us the whole moon and the stars in the world, man. You're going to bring the troops home. We're going to end the wars. You know what I mean? We're going to provide relief to people. We're going to pass all this legislation. You know, we're going to get rid of the filibuster. We're going to raise the minimum wage. And it's just like, you guys, you know, once in power, it's just, you fall back into this, you know, neoliberal status politics where you just go back into just walking back all your promises. And look, man, Joe Biden is in this state right now where he's going to probably have the highest approval numbers that he's ever going to have in his, you know, entire, at least first term. You know, he's still, I believe, sitting in the mid 60% of support in the country. So the majority of this country is behind Joe Biden at the moment. But most presidents get that. Well, I mean, you know, with the exception of Donald Trump, who never got over 50, but never legitimately got over 50%. But you know, for most presidents, for more normal standard presidents, yeah, you're going to have a good honeymoon. They call it the honeymoon phase, right? Where it's just like, you know, you just got elected, the country's behind you, they want you to do well, but how you perform from here, you know, and it's going to determine how far your number's going to go down, because they're going to go down. You know what I mean? That's going to be expected. You know what I mean? So if you hear Joe Biden's poll number, if you see any reports like, oh, Joe Biden's poll numbers are down 5%, that's normal. You know, you expect that, because once you're in power, everything's on you, and people are just naturally going to be, you know, just skeptical and pessimistic about things. I think that's mostly people's viewpoint. You know what I mean? I mean, we're optimistic about a lot of things that we can do in the future, but we're very pessimistic with how we view the present. You know what I mean? I think that's just the way it goes, and that's kind of shown all throughout history, you know, all throughout time. And there was this whole there's this reading I did by you know, I believe it was Socrates about something just like that, but you know, we'll get into that another time. Yeah, man, like I said, dude, Joe Biden is he's gonna lose support, but how much support he's gonna lose, man, I don't know, man. Like, I'm already halfway, you know, almost fully disappointed with the way things have gone. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's all been bad. You know, Joe Biden has taken some good actions. He's made some good executive orders at this point. He's made some good nominations to his cabinet, you know, and you know, it hasn't been all bad. You know, there's a lot of things I support, like his immigration proposal, which you know, is the most thing I've talked about here on the show. Joe Biden's immigration proposal. If you guys have actually gone and read it, and everything that's in there, are all the you know, the pathways to citizenship, the protection for dreamers, and you know, bringing back the silent protections, all good stuff, right? It's all great stuff, you know, and I love it. But then, you know, when you flip it back to where, you know, you're running in your campaign, you're saying, you know, we're gonna free these kids. We're not going to treat them so inhumanely. You know, we're not going to keep doing the same thing that Donald Trump was doing. And then now you're announcing that you're looking into building more detention centers, for the immigrant kids that are coming over here. It's just like, man, we don't need more detention centers. You know what I mean? And you can call it whatever you will, but we don't need any more detention centers. What we need is more more of a focus, a genuine focus on the immigration system to say, look, what we're doing is not working. We need to fix this system. We need to be more humane, especially with children, man. If we're the so-called quote unquote greatest country in the world, you know what I mean? We got to treat children correctly. You know what I mean? We got to treat children like children. You know what I mean? It's just, we're talking about a country that has a system that puts, 6-year-old kids from Nicaragua on trial who don't speak a lick of English. And we put them on trial with no representation, totally defenseless to defend themselves. And then, they end up in these detention centers or whatever they are, or whatever you want to call them. And, these detention camps, they end up there, and then till one day, they slap them on a bus and drop them off in Tijuana. You know what I mean? And then what happens to them? Who knows? You know what I mean? And then, then you hear these reports like, oh, we can't find all these kids' parents. We can't locate the parents. We can't locate the kids. We don't know where anybody's at. We didn't keep records. We don't know. They're lost forever. It's like, this is really why I want to get into law, specifically into immigration, man. It's because I want to do something about it. You know what I mean? I want to find a way where I can help make change, especially in that area. I don't like to see that. I don't like to hear about like all these kids being separated from their parents, all these people living in America who are trying to live good, honest, decent lives, and they're in constant fear every single day on the daily that, this could be the day. You know what I mean? This could be the day. I can get caught up in the situation. I can get snatched up somewhere, and then what's going to happen to me and what's going to happen to my family. And it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And so many good people, live through this fear. And, like I said, man, like Joe Biden and the Democrats and every politician for that matter, Republican and Democrat they'll promise you the world. You know what I mean? We're going to get this done. We're going to fix it. We're going to come in and make solutions. And then once you're in power, it's like, where's the follow through? Where's the follow through, man? Because you know what I mean? It's not just with immigration, man. But like I said, you launched these, these strikes in Syria, which is back to a re-engagement with the Middle East. So that's just like that's a defeating, kind of deflating feeling where it's just like, you would hope, the 8 years with Obama, the 4 years with Trump. Now we get into Biden. Let's get out of this situation once and for all. And it's just like, man, we're always going to be there. We're always going to be there with these same politicians running the show all the time, man. We're never going to end these wars, right? We're never going to bring all the troops fully home. And it's, man, like I said, this whole thing about, oh, Joe Biden is going to be a continuation of the Obama years or an Obama third term, man. It's, especially right now, especially in, looking at foreign policy, it looks very much to be the case. So I mean, I will grant you that one, you know what I mean? Point made. It looks very much like on the foreign policy front, on the, international scene, on the global stage, I should say, very much looks like, kind of a continuation of the Obama policies and everything that they were doing back then, which obviously was, to me, the biggest, that and immigration being their biggest failures of their 8 years in office, of the 8 years of Obama. Again, not saying that the 8 years of Obama were bad or were all bad. I'm just saying I was not a fan of the foreign policy aspect and immigration policies. Yeah, man, and not only that, but, now they're walking back. I mean, they've already walked back the stimulus checks, right? Where it's like, you elect us and we're going to get you $2,000. And okay, we elected you, we've bestowed that power on you. Now give us our $2,000. And it's, oh, well, you see, it's not really $2,000. Now we're just gonna, we gave you 600, right? When, Trump gave you that last 600 or the Congress gave you that last 600. So now we're going to give you the other 14. And now that makes it 2,000. See, we didn't say we're going to give you the full 2,000, which yes, you did. But what we're going to do is match you to get, so you have the full 2,000. And it's just like, you still haven't learned your lesson, have you, Democrats? Still haven't learned your lesson. You know what I mean? And you're going to walk back on the stimulus promise. Joe Biden's already walking back, his campaign promises on canceling student loan debt. He's already walking back the $15 minimum wage that, he came out and said, I'm in support of increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And now it's like, oh, well, maybe not a whole thing, maybe, not to 15, maybe 11, maybe 12, or maybe, it's going to be a gradual phase-in period where it's going to be, we'll pass legislation over the next 5 years, and it'll be a work your way up plan where we'll increase it little by little to get up to 15, which it's like, even at 15, depending on where you live, man, in a lot of places, $15 is not even, a living wage. You know what I mean? You think about, high tax states like California, you know what I mean? You can't make it on your own for $15 an hour in a place like California, now without a whole lot of struggle. So, you know what I mean? Where you'd probably, end up living in poverty and a lot of debt. So just kind of defeats the purpose, man. And, Joe Biden just does a horrible, horrible job of explaining himself. And I've said this, man, it's this thing with the Democrats, man, where, look, their policies are so much fucking better than conservatives and Republicans. The Democrats and the liberals have way better policy, in my opinion. But, they have horrible politicians who don't know how to go out there and explain their position. There's not a lot of Obamas. There's not a lot of smooth talkers like that can go out there and deliver a fucking message. You know what I mean? And, dude, the Democrats are they're horrible at it, man. And, I'm just saying, like, when Joe Biden canceled the, when he passed one of his first executive orders to cancel the pipeline, you guys remember? And, he totally let the Republicans hijack that. I saw nothing but the narrative of, oh, Joe Biden is killing all these jobs, which is like, again, look at the context of it. Yes, it was going to probably eliminate, future temporary jobs. It was temp jobs that were going to be lost in this, and we're talking maybe a few thousand, but his plan overall, top economic researchers have looked at the Biden, his climate plan and said that, if we follow through on it, he can create millions and millions of high paying full-time jobs, not temporary jobs, like real fucking jobs, that pay well and move us away from our dependence on, on oil. So, when do you hear the Democrats go out there and say, like, yes, you know what I mean? We're gonna, what we're doing is gonna affect this little section of jobs, but what we're doing over here is just gonna be so much better, so stick with us and stick with the plan. This is what we got going on and this is what we're gonna do. Like, you never hear that. You just kind of stay quiet and stay off to the corner and then just let the Republicans portray any picture that they want. And it's like, once you put it out there, man, once you put it into the ether and once people start to hear it, now it's just like, nobody knows what I just said. Nobody knows the full context of what Joe Biden could do. They're just stuck in like, oh, well, I saw on the news that, Joe Biden took away all these people's jobs. So they took her jobs. Shout out South Park. Yeah, man, like, dude, the Democrats need to know how to go out there and fight and explain themselves. You know what I mean? They need to go push their policies, because if they go line by line and say this, I support this, I support this, I support this, most of America is going to back you. Most of the people are going to be with you because, let's take it line by line on which area, you know what I mean? Everybody, the majority of the country supports the liberal policy agenda on almost everything. You know what I mean? So even on guns, you know what I mean? In a country like America, where a lot of people are fucking gun nuts here. You know what I mean? Like, even on guns, the majority of the people side with the Democrats. So they need to learn how to just, flex their muscle. They need to know how to use their fucking power, man. And right now they're doing a pretty piss poor job of it, as far as I'm concerned. And, look, man, like I've said before, dude, I voted for Biden. Yes, I absolutely did. You know what I mean? Like, I am still happy with my vote because, part of that vote was to get Donald Trump out of office, which, look, I wanted Donald Trump to lose. I'll full on admit it. I ain't ashamed to admit it. I wanted Trump to lose. I'm glad that he lost. I'm glad that he's out. I'm glad that he's not making decisions. I'm glad he's not in the chair. You know what I mean? I'm glad he doesn't have the nuke codes anymore. But, you know what I mean? Just because I voted for Biden, that does not mean that the Democrats, get off scot-free. Like, the Democrats do not get a pass from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't get a pass. I'm not going to let them slide with, doing the same exact things that I was just complaining about, with Donald Trump for what he was doing. You know what I mean? You don't get a pass just because you're on home team and I voted for you guys. You know what I mean? If you guys are going to do this same basic bullshit that I was just literally complaining months ago about with Donald Trump, then, I'm going to complain about it equally as you guys. And I'll just tell you like this, man, like, obviously I have zero faith in Republicans right now to get anything done. I got zero faith that they're going to do anything that's right for the American people, or for the working class people, I should say. You know what I mean? The people who you should be, fighting for the most. No faith in the Republicans. I don't think they'll ever get their act together. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll ever, at least not anytime soon. They're not gonna, suddenly become the party of the working class. You know what I mean? And it's just like, no, we gotta start passing legislations for more protections for workers and more accountability for the corporations and the wealthy. Like, it's not gonna happen. So, the Democrats are really the last beacon of hope. You know what I mean? That's the last shot in America that you have to actually make any of these progressive changes that the majority of this country fucking wants and voted for. So, look, man, Joe Biden needs to act. You know what I mean? He needs to start getting shit done. He needs to end these wars. He needs to bring the troops home. He needs to increase the minimum wage. He needs to fight with the Democrats to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate. They need to stop fucking catering to the Republicans and bend to the whim of whatever their argument is, where it's just like, when those guys are in power, right? I've talked about it here on the show. When the Republicans have the power, you know what I mean? They don't give a shit how the liberals feel. They don't give a shit about how the Democrats feel. They don't care about the other side of the argument. You know what I mean? They will pass whatever, harsh voter suppression bill, abortion restrictive bill, whatever it may be. And they do not care about the other side. I mean, they literally rush through a Supreme Court justice on the Supreme Court literally days out from an election where the majority of the country, polling was showing that the majority of the country was saying that decision should go to whoever wins the election. And mind you, this is the same exact thing that you did to Obama in his final year when he nominated Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court, and the majority controlled Senate blocked the nomination by not holding any confirmation hearings, refusing to speak to him, refusing to give him his confirmation, and it just kind of fell by the Democrats, just kind of let him have that one. And then Trump got in and ended up with three Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court who are going to sit on that Supreme Court probably for the next, 30, 40, 50 years, if not longer. So, and these are the people that are going to make all the major decisions of how the country moves forward. And you think I'm supposed to have faith that they're going to do the right thing? When an immigration bill hits the Supreme Court, you think I'm going to be confident in its outcome? No, I'm going to be totally terrified, especially for, anybody that I know that is an immigrant and, is an undocumented immigrant and has that daily fear every day. That's totally frightening. You know what I mean? Because even if Biden does pass some kind of major legislation, if they were able to get it done, guess what? They can just challenge it in the Supreme Court. And what's going to happen there? So, I don't know, man. It's just, Joe Biden needs to do what he promised, man. I can tell you that much, because if he doesn't come through and he just kind of continues on with this whole, corporate Democrat style of politics and governing, I mean, I don't know, man. I may not be able to vote for him again for a re-election. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you guys right now, and I have no problems in saying that. You know what I mean? I have no problem saying that if Joe Biden doesn't deliver, then I'm not going to find myself in a position where I can support another vote for him. You know what I mean? And, I can only assume that a lot of people are going to feel the same way. And what that means for what the advantage, to the or to the Republicans that would be, I don't know. Could they win an election at that point? I mean, dude, at this moment, I mean, right now as we speak, in all these states that they just recently lost, man, that the Republicans are in control of, they are swinging for the fences, man. They are going after this thing tactfully. They're going to pass all this legislation or they're trying to pass all this legislation to make voting more, or to suppress the vote even further, right? And make it harder for people to vote. So they're going to go all out. They're waging all out war on this, man, on future elections, and I don't think that's getting enough coverage. I don't think any of the news outlets have talked about that enough. You know what I mean? There's a few people that do, like Daily Show with Trevor Noah, they talk about it, and John Oliver and all these guys who actually give a shit and pay attention to what's going on, not like the mainstream people and all the mainstream medias, right? And man, look, if aside from a Donald Trump, because with the whole thing that came out of that CPAC that I talked about was Donald Trump is looking like the front runner already to be the nomination again in 2024. So, and, people like, the Wall Street Journal and Mitt Romney have come out there and said, yeah, if Trump is allowed to run again, then he's going to secure that nomination with zero problem, almost seemingly with zero effort. And, he will get that nomination quick like that. He will be the front runner, and then the country would have to endure another Donald Trump presidential campaign. Can you imagine going through another fucking 2 years of that? Dude, I really hope not, man. Because, if obviously now that the impeachment is done, and then Donald Trump was acquitted of the impeachment for a second time, the Democrats have, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, she has, talked about how she supports, and what's probable to happen in the future is they're gonna, create a commission, right? They're gonna do a commission on the insurrection that happened on January 6th this year. And I think what's gonna result from that is they're gonna have their commission, they're gonna release their report, and this is just my prediction. This is nothing official, but I think what's gonna happen is once they get the full report that says, yes, these were planned attacks, a lot of these people were doing it in support of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, incited the mob at the on January 6th at his speech that day, and they went in and they stormed the Capitol, and what happened, and obviously you guys have seen all the images and heard all the details by now. But I think with that alone, man, I think Democrats will probably end up holding a vote in the Senate, on the 14th Amendment that says, Trump aided an insurrection against the United States Capitol, against his own government. And all you would need at that point is a majority vote. So even if, we get an even split, because it's 50-50 Democrats and Republicans in the Senate, obviously that means Kamala Harris can come in, her being the president of the Senate, and, she can cast a tiebreaker and then get the majority for the Democrats. And then that would mean Donald Trump could not run again in 2024. Like, he could never run for a public office again. And, I expect that to happen. I think it will, you know what I mean? And I mean, who knows? Don't get me wrong, man. It is the Democrats we're talking about. So, they're incredibly weak when it comes to doing exactly the right thing at times. So, when something should get done, it somehow never gets done. But, I do expect that that's probably what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens with that. But if it doesn't happen, on the off chance that the Democrats don't do what they should and then block Trump from running again with, with the holding a vote on the 14th Amendment, then, I think he can get that nomination again. Now, here's the catch though, for the Republicans who think that's a good thing. Here's kind of the thing, man. Trump could get that nomination again, but it's still kind of a toss-up as whether he could win another election, man, because, like I said, if it's not Trump, you know what I mean? If it was like any other Republican and Joe Biden does a complete horrible job, right, with his first term in office, then, man, I could probably see myself if he does a really bad job and doesn't follow through on a lot of his promises and continues a lot of the, the foreign policy and then the Middle Eastern stuff that he's doing, and just it doesn't come through on immigration, doesn't, raise the minimum wage, doesn't get a whole lot done, then yeah, man, I if that means a Republican taking over, then so be it, man. Because if you're not going to get the results that you want from voting for these people, then what reason is there to vote for them again? And I'm not saying I would vote for a Republican. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I'm pissed off, but I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? So, unless the Republicans gave me something absolutely great to support and vote for, which at this point kind of seems unlikely. Man, I could just kind of see myself sitting out. And I hate to say that because I hate to be that guy that doesn't participate, because, you guys hear it every election, man. You got to participate. But it's like, dude, when you're not giving me something to vote for, man, it's kind of hard to, give me, the best of two shitty options, I should say. You know what I mean? And it's like, back to my South Park reference, kind of reminds me of that whole, remember that election, the douche and the turd sandwich? It's like, you're not giving me much of a choice here. So, which was the premise of the entire episode. But, yeah, man, look, but I'll tell you this much. If it is Donald Trump, then I will absolutely vote for Joe Biden again. If those are my only two choices, I will recast my vote for Joe Biden again. And I think a lot of people will too, because listen, man, we've already lived through Trump. We know what we'd be getting with Trump. We know what the country under his presidency would look like, under his leadership. And it was not a pretty place. So, yeah, man, if it turns out to be Trump, man, I can totally see him losing again. And look, man, if Trump gets the nomination and loses the 2024 election, that's all she wrote, son. That would be the final nail in his political career coffin. And I don't think. I mean, at that point, dude, he would have to go away. Losing 2 elections like that, and so like on the biggest stage, so publicly like that. Yeah, man, you would have to go away. You know what I mean? Like anyone other than Trump that just lost the election would have gone away by now. You know what I mean? And kind of begs the question, if it's not Trump, who's it going to be, man? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got a lovely bunch here on the conservative side with guys like Ted Cruz, who we talked about, and, Mitt Romney and Josh Hawley and all these guys, and everybody that wants to run for president, excuse me there. But yeah, man, with all these guys that want to run for president, man, I don't know. I don't know what they would be able to put out there that would be able or be enough to beat, a Joe Biden. I mean, they've talked about Nikki Haley and some of these new up-and-comers, but I don't see it, man. If it's not Trump, I just don't see where their realistic chance is, because if it is Trump, they have a realistic shot. You know what I mean? They have a chance that Joe Biden does a completely horrible job as president and Trump could just kind of sneak in there and then, win the election. Like, if it's Trump, I think, he would have a shot. Ultimately, I lean towards he would lose again, because there'd be enough people to be like, no, we already saw what it was like with you and we don't want that again. We're a little more comfortable with this guy right now. But, excuse me. Yeah, man, we'll it'd be interesting to see, but I believe that it's probably gonna be, I think the Democrats at some point are gonna hold the majority vote on the 14th Amendment, and if they win, which again would be another hurdle for them to climb, because you can totally see maybe a Democrat or two in a Republican area or in a more conservative friendly area, maybe voting against the effort, but. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see where it goes from here. Let us know what you guys think. You know what I mean? Could Donald Trump get the nomination again, and would he win? Would he beat Joe Biden in 2024? Let us know what you think. And also, I mean, didn't really get to talk about this much, but if you guys haven't heard, the whole thing with Donald Trump and his taxes last few years, where he's refused to release his taxes and show everybody his financial information. So, the state investigations that are going on against him in New York. With the Manhattan DA, they actually just got, through the courts, they finally got Donald Trump's tax returns. So he's also going to be under that investigation, man. And what's going to come of that, I don't know. They weren't made public, so we still don't know what they know. We don't know if they've uncovered anything or if they found anything out. But I don't know, man. I just kind of predict, and I feel like something significant will come out of those taxes now that they've been released fully to the DA. I mean, we probably won't find out for some time, because a lot of stuff goes into these investigations. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You don't really hear about the daily, information that gets learned, from the investigators. It's just kind of like you kind of hear about it when the investigation is complete, which could be a while from now. We're talking about a lot of people here with a lot of money, a lot of lawyers involved. So, I full on expect this to be tied up in the legal system for some time to come. But, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. If Trump catches any kind of charges, or if there's any ramifications to those taxes that just got released, and we'll see what happens there. Maybe that would be enough to block him from getting the nomination. And not to mention that there's also the question is if he even wants to do it again. I mean, I'm sure he'll say he will, and I'm sure that the guy with his massive ass ego, he wants to be the center of attention. So, but I kind of in the back of my head, I wonder how much he really wants it. You know what I mean? Like, he just went through it, man, and he did not seem to have a great, or he did not seem to enjoy it. He didn't enjoy, like, if you look at the whole Trump term, he didn't look like he particularly enjoyed being president so much as he just kind of enjoyed being in the limelight. So, I mean, maybe, like, I've said it before, man, maybe he kind of looks at this and says, like, I kind of don't want to do it anymore, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go back to that, especially give me 4 years out of that fucking place, and I should say fucking place, it's the White House, we should have a little respect, but, get me out of there, you know what I mean? Let me go live my lavish lifestyle in my country club in Mar-a-Lago in Florida, and, see what happens with these, these New York investigations and what have you, but, we'll see, man. Like I said, I'm rambling a little bit, so just let me know what you guys think. Hit us on the email, socials, comment on this video and, tell us what you think and where you see, the next election going. Like, what do you guys expect to see? Do you think Donald Trump is going to run again? Do you think he'll get the nomination? Do you think that the Republicans have a chance if he doesn't and it goes to somebody else? And, can Joe Biden win a re-election? Let us know. But let's go ahead and jump into a quick music break. I know I said I was going to do a short show, and here I am already, going, I think I'm past an hour at this point, but let's go ahead and take the quick music break, you guys. So for those of you guys listening on the Spotify and the audio only versions, you're going to hear our quick little music break. For our YouTube audience, you're going to get just a smaller little quick break here, and then we'll be back, and we will jump right into your listener questions. So don't go anywhere, and stay tuned for more with the Battleborn Podcast up next. All right, you guys, and we are back, and it's time to get into you guys' listener questions for the week. Got a bunch here, but I'm just gonna do a few here, you guys. And like I said, I was gonna try to make this a shorter show, and I'm just gonna try to burn through a few of these real quick. I need to really start to bang these out before they pile up again. I'm just gonna do a few quick ones here, and then wrap the show for the week. And like I said, I'm gonna try to get another show done in a few days. Try to maybe get you 2 for the week. That way, just to make up for being late, being tardy, which was totally my responsibility. I should be a little more professional than that, businessman here. No, I'm just playing. I'm just gonna run through a few of these questions of you guys. And by the way, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you guys want me to read, you guys want some kind of advice or whatever you guys want to ask, go ahead and reach us at the show, at the email, at the social medias, on this YouTube channel, whatever, on the Facebook, or which is part of the social medias, duh. But man, go ahead and whatever way you have of reaching us. Usually most of the traffic comes through the email. You guys like to send the questions through the email. That's the one that gets the most incomings. But man, I'll take questions from the social medias. I'll start taking them off of these YouTube videos, and I will incorporate it into the show. So definitely go ahead and send us in. And like I said, with that, let's go ahead and jump into these questions for the week. And let us start with this one right here. Okay, subject line on this question. Do you think that aliens exist? And, that's also the question. So do you think that aliens exist? Yeah, man, I sure do. I definitely think, I think I don't know about this whole concept of the, did I say concept? I meant concept of this entire, little green Martian men, with big eyes, that whole, when you think of an alien, you know what I'm talking about, right? But I think you have to be naive to think that there's all these planets and there's this great big universe out there, and just our little rock here is the only form of life anywhere in the entire universe. I mean, I think that's kind of to me, I find that hard to believe, man. I gotta believe that there's some kind of life out there. And by the way, that could just be like, plants or water or something like that in another on another planet. You know what I mean? So, like, who knows? Like, maybe there's another planet where there's like bugs and animals and stuff like that. Like, who knows? I mean, the universe is so vast and wide. I mean, like, could you ever fully explore everything? I mean, I doubt it. I mean, you know what I mean? It just seemingly goes on forever. You know what I mean? Like, what would be if you just kept going, if you could just keep going and going and going deeper into space, what would be the end of the universe? And what would you see along the way? You know what I mean? There's gotta be there's got to be some other life out there, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, about this whole, I mean, look, I think there's a lot of credibility to all these, like, UFO sightings that happen. You know, a lot of them, I mean, some of them are bullshit, obviously, but, you know, I think a lot of them, man, there's some credibility to them. And now that the government is actually admitting themselves that, yeah, you know, there's UFOs, there's stuff we see in the skies that we can't identify and we don't know what it was, you know, and, like, I think there's something else out there, man. You know what I mean? I honestly do think that, you know, there's life, beyond just us, you know what I mean? And I think that, you know, as we develop our technology and go further into the future, man, I think we'll start to find more stuff. You know, now they got that rover on Mars right now, and, who knows what they're going to find there. Mars seems to be, from the images that they show you anyway, like, are they real? I don't know. But I mean, if they are real from what they showed you, Mars seems kind of lifeless, you know what I mean? It doesn't really look like it's a place that you can inhabit, you know what I mean? But who knows, you know what I mean? I'm not a scientist, I'm not an astronaut or a space expert, so I mean, I'm not in the Space Force, and I don't know, man, but yeah, I definitely do think that aliens exist in one form or another, you know, whether that be, you know, intelligent life or non-intelligent life. I think there's something else out there, man, and you know, hopefully we'll find out in the future, and we'll see what happens there. But let's go ahead and get the next question. The subject line on this question reads news. Where do you get your news? Shit, man, I get it from pretty much everywhere, bro. Like, when anything kind of major goes down, or there's anything I want to, like, learn about or research, man, I get my sources from everyone, which also includes places I know are complete bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I'll listen to everybody's point of view on this. You know what I mean? I'll listen to the mainstream people. I'll listen to the locals. I'll listen to the social media. I'll listen to, you know, like, you know, independent journalists. I'll listen, you know, I'll kind of, you know, I'll listen to the liberals. I'll listen to the conservatives. You know, I'll listen to everybody. I just kind of put it all together and then form my opinion. You know what I mean? And that just becomes a more educated type opinion, you know, and along with that, you do the research, so you can go on certain things. You can look up statistics and numbers and get, you know, there's laws where, you know, certain entities and government organizations have to release information, you know, and, you know, you can look that stuff up. You know, it's the power of the internet, man. It's the digital age that we live in. You know, there's so much, you guys, for those of you guys holding your phone right now watching this, man, there's so much information just that you have not untapped that's sitting right in the palm of your hand. You know what I mean? Like, literally every piece of knowledge that you could ever want or could ever expect to learn, have it right there. You know what I mean? And, you know, I always think about it that way. So yeah, man, I'm always on the search for more knowledge, and, you know, and like I said, man, I do my homework, and, when I want to make an opinion or a statement or give my take on something, like, I will look at the story. I will, you know, I'll get the news from everywhere. You know what I mean? I'll just get everyone's kind of point of view and all the facts. And like I said, you put that all together, man, and then you're able to make an educated opinion. And that's what everybody pretty much has, is just an educated opinion. You know what I mean? And then, you know, you agree with who you agree with, you disagree with who you don't. So, I mean, yeah, man, I just, that's just kind of how I do it. And, I would like to know, back from you guys, everybody, you and everybody who's listening, where do you guys mostly like to get your news? Social media? Do you guys have a certain news outlet that you like? Are you similar to me where you kind of get it from everywhere? Like, that's kind of how I am. I'm like a sponge, you know what I mean? I just soak up the information, you know what I mean? I love learning new stuff, man. You know, it's just the way I'm wired. I don't know. It's just, how I am. But, yeah, man, a little bit from everywhere, and that's to answer your question. And I think I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. Like I said, guys, it's fucking late. You know, we're getting into the 1 p.m. mark over here, or 1 a.m. mark over here. So I'm gonna run through a few more of these real quick and get to bed. You know, let you guys go, and I can go get some sleep. But let me go ahead and do a couple more questions. This one reads: scary movie. What is the scariest movie of all time? Scariest movie of all time. Shit, man, I like scary movies, but I don't know which one is the scariest. It's hard for me to say because, like, scary movies don't really scare me. You know, I actually quite enjoy them. You know what I mean? Sometimes a movie is scary to somebody, I'll be sitting next to them and I'm just kind of like laughing at the movie, like, that's not scary. I mean, I don't know. Like, for movies, my scary threshold is pretty high. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, if I had to, like, just downright pick one, I would probably say like the one that kind of comes to mind is probably The Exorcist, the original Exorcist. Yeah, man, that movie did scare me, but you know, the first time I watched it, I was a little kid, you know what I mean? I was a very young child, and you know, even though I'm still childlike, no, I'm just, I was very, very young at the time when I saw The Exorcist. My parents actually let me watch it when I was very young, and dude, that movie, holy shit, scared the shit out of me. And yeah, man, I would probably say, just because I can't really think of any others, you know, really that I can say are just super scary, you know, that kind of scare me that way. But I mean, I remember being scared of The Exorcist. So I'm going to go ahead and say that one. And just because of its historical, presence in the horror movie genre, I think most people would probably maybe say The Exorcist as well. I mean, there's a lot of good ones, I'm sure, that you can throw in there. We should make a list, me and you guys, let's make a list of all the scariest, or the top best scariest movies, and maybe we can read that on the show. But I'm gonna say the scariest of all time, probably The Exorcist, just given the time it came out. You know, I believe that movie came out in the 70s. You know what I mean? And dude, it still holds up, man. Still fucking holds up. You know, even today you can watch that shit and you're just like, whoa. You know what I mean? That's some freaky shit. You know, don't play with Ouija boards, people. You know, and just I see fucking people playing with Ouija boards on social media. I'm like, don't do it. You're opening doors. You're unlocking things that you don't want to unlock. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and say The Exorcist on that one, and let's go ahead and get the next question. This one reads, first priority. Hey Mario, hey, how's it going? What do you think should be Biden's first major action in office? Oh shit, that totally didn't go the way I was thinking it was gonna go. I thought it was like a relationship type thing, but first priority. What do you think Biden's first major action should be in office? Dude, get the stimulus checks out. Dude, yeah, right there, dude. That is and the vaccines, you know what I mean? Like, take care of the COVID. You know what I mean? COVID has to be priority number one. You got to get rid of this thing, dude. I'll tell you this much, man. If we go into 2022 and we're still dealing with this shit, masks, people haven't got vaccinated fully, we can't stop doing like all the social distancing as much, and you know, the restrictions haven't really improved. A lot of people are going to hang that on Biden and say, dude, he's doing a pretty fucked up job on it. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to say, you already know whether it's his fault or not. If you're the guy in charge, you take the responsibility. That's just the way it works. So he better focus on that shit. He better focus on getting these vaccines. He better not, you know, I don't know about, you know, state reopenings. Like, I think you can reopen certain things, you know, restrictively, but don't do it all too quick. You know what I mean? Don't get any more spikes in cases, right? And definitely, man, get these fucking checks out. You know what I mean? People are fucking hurting. I mean, it's been a year of this shit at this point, guys. You know what I mean? It's been a full year of this coronavirus shit at this point, and dude, you know what I mean? I think people they're just done with it, man. Even people that want to do the right thing, you know, that want to wear the mask and want to social distance, they want to do things right. I mean, I talk about it with people all the time, man. They're just fucking over it. Like, anytime I talk to anybody about it, it's like, dude, I'm over the mask. I'm over all the shit. You know what I mean? I'm over all the rules. It's like, I just want things to be open again. And, you know, I want to be able to take my kids out and do stuff and do all the fun things that we used to do. And, you know, the summer's coming up in a few months, and it's just like, people just, man, especially after a year like 2020, people need a fucking break, man. And, you know what I mean? I think that's one of the things that he should definitely focus on. And all things considered, looks like he is. Looks like the Biden administration takes it very, very seriously, rolling out these vaccines. You know, cases are going down, and you know what I mean? And it looks like this COVID relief bill is on track to be passed, you know, by the Senate. It's already gotten passed and approved by the House. Now it needs to be approved by the Senate before it can go back to the House again, and then they can vote for it again and send it off to Biden to sign it. And I'm sure Biden will sign it as soon as he gets it, because I mean, there's no way he's not going to sign that. You know what I mean? There's just no way. You know what I mean? And you know, people need to get that stimulus money. So, you know, the good thing is, you know, a lot of people are starting to do their tax returns, but you know, I'll tell you guys, you know, I know a lot of people that are struggling with that as well, because, you know, one of the things that happened last year, you know, with the CARES Act that was passed by the Democrats is, A lot of people took, they withdrew money from their 401ks, from their retirements, you know what I mean? Just to kind of get by for the year, keep up with their bills and keep food on the table and what have you. And, you know what I mean? Usually when you do that, man, you get a fatty old penalty, from good old Uncle Sam at the IRS, man. And they'll tax you hard on that. If you, take money out of a retirement plan before you're, qualified to in your older age. But, because of the CARES Act, man, there was, part of that was like, for the people that, withdrew money out of their retirements to, stay afloat, they were going to get, they were going to get a break to not get penalized for doing so. Right. And, man, a lot of people, they experienced like a lot of, like I saw the story, man, a lot of people were, experiencing long waits on being able to do their taxes because, you got to get all that stuff put together. You know what I mean? Like the IRS needs to basically come out with the forms and the process for people to be able to, not get penalized, for that very reason. And I know I'm rambling a little bit here, but, yeah, man. Dude, now I'm seeing that people are starting to be able to, get their taxes done finally. And that's going to be a relief to people that can get a tax return check, especially in times like these. But I mean, the stimulus, man, that's got to happen. You know what I mean? Like it should have been 2000. That's what they promised. That's what they campaigned on. And shame on them for not following through and caving in on that and walking it back. And now it's 1400. But bro, I'm telling you, at this point, people will take it. People will take it. Give people their 1400 and let them, just give them any kind of relief at this point. You know what I mean? And I just saw that the unemployment benefits are about to run dry again, unless they get this COVID relief thing passed. So, I mean, even more of an incentive, man. I believe somewhere in March, like in the middle of March somewhere, the benefits run dry. So, they know they're on the clock. I think the Democrats know that they got to get this done. There's a lot of pressure on Biden and the Democrats and the Congress to, pass the bill and send it to Biden so he can sign it. But the pressure is always going to lie on the president because he's the figurehead. So, man, that's priority number one. Focus on COVID and get those stimulus checks out because people really need it. And let's do a few more here. Next question has no title, but let's see what it says. Which would be harder for you to give up? Coffee or alcohol? Oh, easy, man. Coffee. You can get rid of coffee. I don't even drink coffee. Fun fact about your boy. I don't drink coffee. I'm not really into the coffee. I love the smell of coffee. You know what I mean? Like something about the smell. It just kind of wakes you up in the morning. You know what I mean? But I can't sit there and drink it, man. It's sometimes it's bland to me. It's like you can put all the creamers and the sugars and stuff like that, which makes it super unhealthy at that point. But you can sweeten it up all you want, man. Just there's something about that taste, the texture of coffee. It's like never really been able to get into it. So I already don't drink coffee already. And, I'm not an alcoholic. Like I'm not a major drinker. Like I'm not like a everyday type drinker. Like I get home, got to drink something. You know what I mean? I enjoy a glass of wine every now and again. In fact, if you guys follow me on the social media, on my personal social media, then, you'll see that, I get into the wine a little bit and, red wine. But, yeah, man, I can give up coffee. Absolutely, you know what I mean? And, I'll keep my alcohol and, you know what I mean? And whenever there's a special occasion or a social event or a gathering of some sorts and, someone hands me a drink and I'm going to drink it. So, unless it's coffee. So don't buy me coffee, buy me something better. You know what I mean? You can buy me an adult drink or, just don't buy me coffee. And, let's go ahead and, let's do a couple more here. Next one, it says, your name. Mario, were you named after anyone? Yeah, actually I was. I was named after my father. I am a junior, so my father's name is also Mario, and I'm just a second generation Mario. So I'm a junior, and that's who I was named after. It wasn't after anybody famous. I don't know where the name comes from. I don't know if it has any, I don't know if my dad was given that name for any kind of special significance. I don't know if it meant something special. Maybe I should ask him that. I don't know, me and my dad don't really have those kind of talks, but, yeah, man, I was named after my father. So yeah, they named me after my dad, and, that's where Mario comes from. So that's my name. Don't wear it out. How long has it been since you heard that? But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and just do one more question for the week, and then I'll wrap the show. And I'm gonna go hit the bed over here and get me a little bit of sleep. But this one also has no title, so let me read what it says. What's your favorite sport to watch? Oh shit, dude, that one's easy. I probably talked about it on the show. I'm not sure, but dude, it's basketball. I love basketball, bro. Like, I can watch basketball almost all day, every day. Like, not all the time. Sometimes it's hard. Like I talked about earlier in the show, man, it's been kind of tough for my Lakers, bro, and it's just been hard to watch. I actually missed last season. I don't think I missed a game. I think I watched every single game, including the playoffs in the bubble. But I've missed a few Lakers games this season. You know what I mean? Just with shit goes down, you know what I mean? I have class, or, I'm at work, or, I'm in the gym or doing something, you know what I mean? I've missed a couple of games, which I kind of knew that we would win, kind of like nothing games, you know what I mean? Whereas like last year, I watched everything, you know what I mean? We had that great year, but, excuse me, yeah, man, basketball all the way. I love watching basketball. Football is a very close second. I can watch playoff baseball, like depending on who's playing, you know what I mean? But I cannot watch a full season of baseball. I'm not a hardcore like that. I can watch hockey playoffs, you know what I mean? I can't watch a hockey regular season. I can't watch golf. I can't watch bowling. I can watch soccer in person. I can't watch it on TV. You know what I mean? I can't watch soccer when it's on TV, dude. It's just not really my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I love soccer. I love the sport. You know what I mean? I love the culture of soccer. And when it's big, important games, like championship games, like, FIFAs or something like that, I'm there, bro. I'm watching, or my favorite team of all time, which is the U.S. women's team. If they're playing, I'm watching, man. I love those girls, and, I'll catch them anytime. But, dude, like, I can't sit there and watch just kind of a meaningless game between two countries that you barely ever hear of. Like, I can't sit there and watch Uruguay versus Nicaragua in an exhibition soccer match. Like, I'm not really into that. Like, it just kind of drags on, man. But if you're in person, like if you're watching a soccer game in person, oh, it's pretty live, man. It's pretty good. It's similar to baseball, where it's like when you're in person, it's a lot more fun. You know what I mean? Especially put a little alcohol, get a little adult beverages involved, and you have yourself a good old time. And you can do it that way. But yeah, man, as far as like watching sports, it's basketball and football, man. Those are my two mains, and sometimes baseball. But that's kind of where I draw the line right there, man. And and you know what? Obviously, I love watching boxing and combat sports like MMA, man. I love watching fights. So I can watch boxing whenever. I can watch MMA whenever, and more so boxing, because you know what I mean. I'm just more of a boxing fan than an MMA fan, but I do enjoy the UFC. I enjoy what they got going on right there, and I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. So when he calls the UFC fights, and I always love hearing his commentary, and I love the after fight interviews. When the guys say like you guys go look on the YouTube right here on YouTube, and you guys can look up Joe Rogan's post fight interviews, funniest moments, and there's just a lot of hilarious stuff that goes on. But anyway, that is it for our show this week, you guys. Thank you guys again for joining us. We went over an hour, so it went a little bit longer than I expected to go, so which is a good thing. More content for you guys to take in, and man, it's been great. I'm glad that I was able to get a fucking podcast in the can and then get it out to you guys. But yeah, definitely all good. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Mario Salinas here for the Battleborn Podcast, and if you guys want to reach the show with any of your questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to reach us at the email, which is at battlebornpodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us at our socials, which is at Instagram is at the Battleborn Podcast. I'm sorry, Instagram is at Battleborn Podcast, and Facebook is at the Battleborn Podcast. And make sure I get that right. And you can also like and comment on these YouTube videos. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. So whichever way, whatever your preference is to reach us, you guys have a variety of different ways to get a hold of us, and let us know what's on your mind. We would love to hear from you, and we'll talk about it here on the show. So until we meet again, everybody, it's been real, it's been cool, but it hasn't been real cool. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm fucking tired. I'm exhausted. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But always a pleasure. Have a great week, everybody. And as always, you guys have a great week, and I will catch you for the next one. Come on, Lakers, we got to get this.